Hello everyone. I hope you are well. Just going live on all our channels today. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me. I hope everyone can see and hear me okay. Of course, if I'm asking if you can hear me and you can't hear me, you can't hear me asking you if you can hear me. But hopefully everyone is able to hear and see fine. Tim, wonderful to see you again. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bako, thank you for joining me. Dimitri, thank you for joining me again. It's lovely to see some familiar faces. So thank you for everyone who is tuning in this morning. This, of course, is my AMs with Annette segments, Mondays to Thursdays at 11 a.m. And today is our UK business update. So thank you everyone who is tuning in and joining me. My lighting looks very strange today, so I'm hoping that you can see me okay and it's not too odd at your end. It looks quite odd from my end. So good morning, Sophia. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me. Everyone who is hopping on, I do appreciate it. As always, of course, I do also massively appreciate the loves, the shares, the hearts, the likes, the follows, the subscribes, whatever it is on whichever platform you are on. Thank you so much for that. We are currently, of course, live on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitter, and of course, inside the Uncover Wealth community, my private community on Facebook. Is there a Training Tuesday on Facebook today? Tim is asking. Yes, Tim, there is Training Tuesday on today. Today's Training Tuesday will be at 1:30 p.m. UK inside the Uncover Wealth community on Facebook. And today's topic is, let me have a look. It's the 7 stages to creating a profitable and scalable business is what we are talking about today on Training Tuesday. So I will look forward to seeing you on there. And of course, that invite is open to anyone who's running a business. I would love for you to join me for a Training Tuesday. You just need to head over to Facebook and type Uncover Wealth Community into the search bar, find the group, answer the questions, hit join, and you can come in and tune in for that. Your Nans, thank you so much for my hair compliment. That is very kind of you. Sophia, thank you for the follow. Thank you everyone who is tuning in and joining me today. So like I said, this is my UK business update where we speak about all things around the economy, UK business, employment, and all those things. So the first thing that I want to cover off today is that the number claiming out of work benefits has risen to 2.7 million people in July, more than double the pre-pandemic level. The UK has shed almost 750,000 jobs since the start of the coronavirus crisis, with Britons earning less and working fewer hours as well. Data that has just newly been released is showing. So the number of UK payroll employees was 730,000 lower in July than in March, according to the Office of National Statistics figures based on the tax data. The ONS said that the drop in payroll employment in May, June and July was largely due to a lack of hiring rather than redundancies, which is interesting. However, the number of people claiming out of work benefits also continued to rise in July, reaching 2.7 million. So meanwhile, the ONS said that about 7.5 million people were still temporarily away from work in June, with the oldest and youngest and those in manual occupations most likely to be amongst that number. Most were on furlough, but the ONS also said that there are about 300,000 people temporarily away from work receiving no pay as well. So that is obviously, big increase and pressures on the benefit system as well. So total pay, including bonuses, was 1.2% lower in the 3 months to June than a year earlier, while time worked each week fell by a record 203.3 million hours compared to the previous year at 191.3 million. And on the previous quarter, it was a fall in the previous quarter, sorry, by that. Despite the huge shock to the labour market, the official unemployment rate has remained unchanged at 3.9% in the 3 months to June. The ONS has said this was because it did not include people who were out of work but not actively actively looking for a new role. So of course, some discrepancies with the figures. There's some funny numbers there, but in summary, a huge number of people now claiming out of work benefits, 2.7 million people as at July. And that is, of course, double the level that it was when we came into this pandemic as well. Thank you, Eloisa, for joining me. As always, it's wonderful to see you. Norman, thank you for tuning in. Sophia, thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that. Minecraft speedrunner, I can teach you about business. That is what I can be your teacher about, but not much else. Thanks for the follows, everybody who is also following me. I do appreciate it. Hey, Katie, thank you for saying hello. Sonia, hello. Thank you for saying hello as well. Kerry, thank you for tuning in. I do appreciate it. Megstar, thank you for joining me. Eden, thank you for tuning in. Everyone who is joining me and tuning in today, saying hello on whichever platform you might be on, I massively appreciate it. Thank you so much. It's always nicer on these live sessions when people do say hello and give me some love in the comments. So thank you, Sammy. I appreciate that as well. We are hearing that companies are warning of a collapse of English as English councils resume their debt collection. So this is a move that's going to hit businesses in part that missed out on government support schemes the hardest. So struggling companies have been warned that they will be pushed closer to collapse by a resumption of the business rates collection by councils after months of forbearance that have happened. A number of councils have now started chasing businesses for unpaid rates bills, as well as, of course, residential tenants for council tax. And many are saying we just can't afford these rates bills. We just can't afford them any longer. And it's really pushing businesses to the brink, unfortunately. So what measures they will take to escalate the reclaim of these monies, we don't yet know. Will they put them to the courts? Will they put businesses, under as a result? Will they start liquidation proceedings as a result of unpaid rates? We just don't know at the moment. But it is putting a massive amount of pressure on businesses that at this point in time are very much struggling. We know, of course, some businesses still unable to open, therefore no revenue. We also have some that are able to open but massively decreased footfall. We also have some businesses with massively increased costs as a result of PPE and all those kinds of things. So the pressure for business rates just adds to that growing pressure that many businesses are finding with their cash position. Of course, many with cash reserves completely run out now as well, and having to try and build those back up with that pressure in there as well. Thank you, Sophia. I really appreciate you sharing. That is incredibly kind of you. I massively appreciate it. So thank you so much. And I do thank you, everyone who is following, liking, sharing, thumbs upping, giving me hearts, subscribing, all those things, whichever platforms you are on. I massively appreciate it. So thank you so much for that. Now, we have seen that retail sales have actually remained robust in July. More people are returning to shops. However, purchases are still focused on life at home. The sales by value has increased 3.2% in July compared to the same month in 2019. So this was the second consecutive month of growth, following, of course, 3 months of falling sales, according to recent data published and compiled by the British Retail Consortium. The biggest areas for growth were amongst household improvements and home working. So purchases of furniture, computer equipment and home accessories increased the most in any category year on year, but shoppers have apparently remained reluctant to buy luxury items, with decreases in sales being reported for jewelry, watches, clothing and footwear, as well as health and beauty brands as well. 1 in 3 British employers is said to be planning to cut jobs in the third quarter of this year. I'm going to take a drink of my tea as well. So the latest CIPD study, which shows that 1/3 of British employers plans to cut jobs in the third quarter, comes as, of course, the furlough schemes start winding down and coming to an end as well. This is a result, by the way, of a survey of around 2,000 companies that was done. So relatively small number, but of course 1/3 is a pretty high percentage there that we're hearing as well. So the study by the Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development found that the number of employees expected to make redundancies had jumped from 22% earlier this year to 33% for the 3 months to the end of September as well. With the latest quarterly labour market outlook, said that although hiring intentions had risen, with almost half employers expecting to take on new recruits in the next 3 months compared to 40% in the last quarter, confidence is still at its lowest since the surveys began in 2013 as well. So a worrying state for UK employment with that survey as well. So thank you everyone who is tuning in. I do appreciate it. Can I give you the weather for Pully in Scotland? Because you can't be bothered to look it up. No, I am not the weather forecaster, but I can say it's probably rain because I am in the borders, and that is what the forecast for rain is here as well. Yeah, absolutely. This is UK Business Update that we are covering today. So thank you everyone who is tuning in and joining me. Tuesdays at 11 a.m. is our UK Business Update, where we speak about all things around UK business, the economy. We are speaking about things like the furlough scheme, the banks, and those kinds of things as well. So we're hearing that UK live events workers have warned of mass job losses as well. More than 1 million people work in festivals and concerts and are also said to be at risk, the sector is warning. Plaza is an umbrella group for events businesses, and they have warned the Treasury that without further support, these workers, many of whom are highly skilled technicians, will lose their livelihoods and will put the future of live events in the UK at risk as well. They are saying that without help, we could be left with little or no industry to restart. We will lose a skill set that has taken years to build. This is by the chief executive of Plaza. He added that the live music and shows projected in the UK's culture to the world was crucial to maintain an international profile as the country left the EU as well. The UK leisure events industry, excluding sport, is estimated to be worth £29 billion according to the British Visits and Events Partnership, and of course also attracts millions of tourists every year who come to see gigs and shows as well, causing mass issues to the economy as a whole and to, of course, people who work in events. And it's not just the live events, we also have things like the wedding industry when we speak about events as well, which have a massive impact on the economy and have a massive impact on employment as well. So thank you everyone who is tuning in today. I do appreciate it. We are covering UK business updates today. So let me just check to make sure we don't have any questions or anything coming through. No, I'm not Irish. I am Scottish. What are my predictions for the next month? Well, unfortunately, my predictions do involve significant increases in unemployment, and in all honesty, probably the economy not doing very much, not changing hugely from where we are just now as well. Sophia's in Wales. Hello, Sophia in Wales. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me. First name, last name is saying when we go back to school. I think you mean, do you mean what you think the effect on the economy will be when we go back to school? I'm not sure your question. Of course, schools go back in Scotland today, so we'll see what effect that might have as well. Eat out to help out. So the question is this scheme enough? The hospitality sector is warning that it is still in crisis despite a surge in bookings and sales. Restaurateurs hailed a surge in bookings and doubling in sales on the first day of the scheme, but they have warned that the industry is still in crisis despite this support. The chairman of Brasserie Bar & Co has said that the first 3 days of the week where the scheme was introduced were spectacular and really successful, up on last year. However, they believe that the industry still needs more support and more help, and it just doesn't go far enough, unfortunately, at the moment to fully support the industry coming back as well. Evening Standard is to cut a third of jobs. They have said, this is the Free Commuter paper, has said that they are proposing to cut 115 jobs to save the company. That's not going to be the first of those as well in the media. We expect more job cuts to come in that area as well. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me. Let's see what we've got here happening. Do you think it's going to be extended as of the end of this month? Look, do you mean furlough? I'm going to actually speak about furlough shortly and some information on that. So I'm not sure if that's what you mean, Luke, or if you mean something else. Let me know in the comments specifically what you're referring to. No, I am not single. I'm happily married with 2 children. Yes, you do. I'm going to cover off furlough in a couple of minutes, Luke. So we'll speak through that and then I'll come back to you on that one as well. Bank overdraft charges are soaring up to 49.9% in the UK. Changes delayed due to COVID are going to be hitting borrowers at the first time. Customers of high street banks could face an annual overdraft charge as high as nearly 50% as there is a regulatory shake-up of borrowing costs. And this was due to be introduced before, but it has been delayed as a result of COVID, but it's coming into effect now. The new charges are going to hit borrowers at the worst time, just as the furlough scheme unwinds and unemployment starts to spiral, says Andrew Hager, director of Moneycoms, a comparison website. Customers with large overdrafts are likely to be shocked by the difference in monthly charges, he goes on to say, which in some cases would be double what you'd be charged for borrowing on a credit card. So that is going to be a real issue for many people who at this time have had to go into overdraft as a result of the situation they find themselves in, whether they have lost their jobs, whether their business has been shut down, whether or not they've received support as well on that. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me. Blooming Marigolds asking you about HS2. I don't know enough about HS2 in all honesty to comment on that. I don't know the ins and outs of the economic impacts of HS2, so I wouldn't want to speculate on that and guess on that because I do not know on that one. Thank you, Sophia. I very much appreciate it. I very much appreciate it. Let's see. Oh, lovely. We got some more TikTok trolls, which is always beautiful. Awesome. Margot saying you don't know much about it either. Yeah, I don't know much about it. So yeah, I don't want to mix stuff up on that one. So pressure is growing on Rishi Sunak to extend the UK furlough scheme. The plans to end the pandemic support have been dubbed a grave mistake. But the Bank of England governor says it's time to look forward as well. Rishi Sunak has come under massive pressure to basically avert a wave of autumn job losses after the Bank of England warned that unemployment would remain high and output below pre-pandemic levels until at least the end of next year, so 2021. He's basically, Rishi Sunak is facing demands to extend until 2021 the furlough scheme. That seems like it would just be far too much pressure on the country's economy as a whole, and actually a lot of uncertainty for people and businesses if he did that as well. The Chancellor has admitted that there will be hardship ahead for many people as the recession bites, but he's also said that most reasonable people would understand his decision to end the furlough scheme in October. Of course, if you're caught up in that, that's going to be incredibly difficult to understand as well. The furlough scheme has supported more than 9 million jobs during this point in time, and most people believe it has been pretty successful all in all. It certainly has helped save millions of people's jobs, at least in the short term. Of course, as it keeps falling away and businesses are required to pay more and more when they are on furlough, when they have staff on furlough, we're going to see what effect that has on the employment figures and how they actually kind of end up bedding out as well. So Sophia, I am going live again later. I will be live in, but it will be within my Facebook group. So it will be within the Uncover Wealth community. My private community on Facebook is where I will be live later. Oh, I'm just trying to block someone, and TikTok is playing games with me. So let's see. No, I can't seem to block them. Let me see. There we go. I've got it. There we go. Wonderful. Lucas saying, is it paid to stay at 80% or drop lower? What happens, Lucas, actually the company has to start paying things like employers national insurance. It has to start paying the taxes, and the companies don't get that portion paid back to them. So that starts to kick in pretty much now, and that is why we're going to start seeing some big issues there as well. I am also live on Instagram at the moment, Sophia. I am live as we speak on Instagram at the moment. My Instagram handle is Annette_Fergs, so I am currently live there as well. UK businesses are pressing for more support on local lockdowns. The CBI calls for a system of funding and clear communication on arrangements where we have a local lockdown. Businesses have to close again. What happens there? Where is the support for businesses when that happens and they suddenly have to close their door for 2 weeks again or longer? What does that look like? There's a huge call for some kind of support there as well. Sophia, it is Annette_Fergs. My username on Instagram is exactly the same as my username on TikTok, so you can find me there with that username. Now, the Bank of England has signalled a long route to recovery. The central bank predicts short-term bounce back before a slow return to pre-pandemic levels, but the Bank of England on Thursday, the 6th of August, stuck to its view that the UK economy will bounce back rapidly at first from the coronavirus crisis. The central bank's latest forecast suggests it will be a long, slow grind before output and employment return to pre-pandemic levels, and that there are high risks of the recovery being thrown off course. So we've got these very differing views from the central bank and from the Bank of England. The central bank being much more negative in their views, and the Bank of England being more positive and predicting a bounce back. So the Bank of England is much more upbeat than many economists in general as well about the short-term outlook. And also the Bank of England is more positive and upbeat about this than I feel as well. I don't think that we'll have a fast recovery at all. Tim, yeah, I do think the recession will essentially be a depression. There's no actual official definition of a depression, but most economists agree that if it's a recession that lasts beyond 2 to 3 years, then it's technically a depression. And yes, I do believe that we will fall into that. Yes, Sophia, that is correct. So policymakers are expecting a slower recovery and greater long-term damage, whereas the Bank of England think the recovery is set to slow dramatically after the third quarter rebound, with output returning to pre-pandemic levels at the end of 2021, meaning the crisis will wipe out 2 years of economic growth. It could take a long time for those who lose jobs to find new ones, but the Bank of England is not as gloomy about the outlook for unemployment as it was in May, saying the government support schemes have limited job losses. Of course, time's going to tell on that as the schemes are starting to fall off. We're hearing a lot about job losses, redundancies, people downsizing, all those things. So let's see what happens with that. The central bank sees no immediate need to cut interest rates below zero, and Andrew Bailey, the Bank of England governor, has made it clear that negative interest rates were now part of our toolbox, as he says, but at present there was no plans to use them. This statement, when he said it, actually boosted the sterling as well. The MPC is split on its views on the state of recovery. A vote to leave monetary policy unchanged was unanimous, but Mr. Bailey acknowledged that a high degree of uncertainty about the Bank of England's forecasts were part of a reflection of vigorous and open debate inside the MPC. So again, we've got very differing views on a lot of those things as well. The UK is set to be hit harder than other developed economies too. The Bank of England's projections place the UK at the back of the pack amongst developed economies, with GDP falling 9.5% in the year, compared with a drop of 8% in the Eurozone and 5.75% in the US. The central bank said this was partly because of the timing of the UK's lockdown, as well as the fact that social consumption plays a big part in the UK economy. So thank you everyone who is tuning in. Jacob, if you do not enjoy my live stream, you can just move straight on, but I'm sure that the kids, as you call them, can learn a lot from this session as well. So thank you everyone who is joining me. Thank you for tuning in. Hello, Charles. Thank you for joining me. Sophia, we are wrapping up. We'll be wrapping up very soon. Snow posting, what do you think needs to happen for the economy to recover? Oh, that's a really interesting question. I mean, fundamentally, an economy recover, the UK economy would recover through spending. I mean, that is how the UK economy would recover. But it's of course very challenging just now because we have a huge amount of uncertainty and people are not wanting to spend, understandably so as well. So recruiters are reporting the sharpest rise in UK job seekers as well since December 2008. It is a survey done by KPMG, and REC finds that supply of temporary staff in July was at its highest in 23 years. UK recruiters are reporting a steepest rise in the number of people seeking work since the depths of the financial crisis, as well as companies dismiss staff who have previously been furloughed. So again, this is linking back to the changes in furlough and linking back to our unemployment that we're seeing as well. So thank you for everyone who is tuning in today. I do very, very much appreciate everyone who is hopping on. So thank you for joining me. That is everything that I have to share with you today, but I would love if you do run a business in the UK, or not in the UK, in fact, if you do run a business, to join me inside the Uncover Wealth community. That is my private community on Facebook, and I will be live later on in there today for Training Tuesday. So you just need to hop over to Facebook, type Uncover Wealth community into the search bar, and you can find it there. Sophia's now hopped onto Instagram. Thanks for joining me, Sophia. It's lovely to see you over here too. So thank you everyone who's tuning in. I need to hop off because I have to hop on a call now. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me. If you have joined halfway through and you need to catch the replay, do hop over to my YouTube channel. You can find that really quickly by just typing AnnetteFergs.tv into your browser URL line, and that will give you a quick shortcut to my YouTube channel. Make sure you hit subscribe when you're over there catching the replay as well. So thank you everyone who's tuned in. I do appreciate it very, very much. I'm going to hop off now, but I will speak to you all again very, very soon. I know I've got some questions that I haven't managed to cover, but unfortunately I am out of time today. So thank you everyone for watching.